Hi guys, Paul Pluta on the Paul Pluta channel. Today guys, I am doing a paid review. This is paid review 20JU51. This is for Chris. And before we start this paid review, let's, I gotta tell you, let's have a bit of a look here. Let's have a look. Let's see what I'm wearing as a wristwatch. I'm wearing a Patek Philippe 5127G. This is the new Patek I've just acquired. Okay, Chris says, "Hi Arch, new fan and new to collecting. I plan to buy a Rolex next. My first. And I want it to be for my birth year, 1966. I lean towards a Submariner, but I'm not committed. Can you tell me what a 1966 Rolex, 1966 Rolex would be your choice for a 15 to 20,000 budget? Would appreciate your reasons too. Thanks, Chris." So Chris, thank you so much for this request here. And I gotta be totally honest with you, Chris. I'm not a big fan of birth year watches. No. The problem is, Chris, we're talking about vintage Rolex. And you know what vintage Rolex is? It's a minefield. It's an absolute minefield itself there. It's really quite difficult. The problem is we've got so many wristwatches that fit into this genre, and we want to get a 1966 one. The problem is you're just searching around. How do we know what a 1966 one is? Well, there could be papers, but usually there's no papers. Usually it works on the serial number. And what's to say it was sold in that period, or it was, there's so many little variations. And what happens if we find a really mint 1965 one, but the 66 one's a bit passé? This is the whole problem. I'm not a huge birth year watch type person. And I got to be honest with you, you're getting a bit old. It's 1966. The problem is they're expensive for sports. And I really think you're new to collecting. I wouldn't be jumping in the vintage end. Vintage is years of experience, and you just don't just jump in so willy-nilly. It's like someone being a car person and they want to go and buy a vintage. Well, it's fraught with danger. It's fraught with danger. So I would say really, I don't know if I would really be doing that. I think that is kind of a dumb idea. The problem is a lot of the 1966 Rolexes, there's the issue with the dials. Is the dial original? The bezels, so many bits and pieces. This vintage is hard. I completely understand your quest for a birth year watch, but no, don't do that. Don't do that. See, the thing is, you've got a good budget, $15,000 to $20,000, so you could get some really beautiful pieces for that. A birth. See, I don't know if I'd get a birth year watch. What about just a nice Submariner? Wouldn't that be cool? So you could get a nice two-tone. You could get a lot of good modern stuff. So when you say you want a birth year one, no. The problem is too, a lot of these birth year, 1966, that's an old watch now. That is really, really quite old. That's correct. It's really old there. So 56 years old, geez, it's fraught with danger. Vintage is difficult. If I had a $15,000 to $20,000 budget, I would seriously be saying you could get you could build a nice little collection, okay? So instead of just blowing it on one second-rate vintage watch, which you possibly don't know a lot about. See, the problem is you newbies, they come in for vintage and they say, I want prices, everything, service doesn't matter. So they go online, they go to Chrono, they go to the eBay, and you've got some unscrupulous people who will sell you things they're cheaper, and you can't rationally sort apples from the oranges because you don't know about vintage, and what looks really nice and bright and shiny could be rehashed. So, to be honest with you, vintage is fraught with danger. What I would do for 15 to 20,000, I'd get myself a beautiful, building a little collection there. Why don't you get yourself a beautiful Rolex for yourself? Maybe a Datejust, maybe a new Submariner. I'd possibly add a Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon. And I'd possibly add in a Tudor Black Bay. Wouldn't that be a great three-piece meal deal hunger buster? Modern. See, modern, they've got seals. They work. They got warranty. See, this would be more my cup of tea. A 1966 piece, gee, that's a pretty old damn thing. The problem as well is that a lot of watches from that era were really small. You look at the Datejust, that's 36 mil. You maybe go to, say, like a Rolex Royale or a Rolex 6694. They're all 34 mil type pieces. That was considered the norm in this time period. So I don't think anything like a Submariner, it's fraught with danger. So I'd give that the wide berth. You're new to watches. The last thing you want to do is dip your toe in the vintage pot. And I don't make a really good everyday piece. It's kind of a special occasion piece. So I got to be honest with you. That's probably the worst thing you could do is go berth here. You're an old bugger. 1966 is getting. I'm 72. That's bad enough. 66 is older. I hope you understand these are getting the seals. They don't have the waterproofing like they modern. I'd go modern, okay? The reason I like modern is because they've got better seals, better technology. It's also much more usable. They haven't been mucked around with 20 different watch repairers who've had different skills and ability. Vintage, it's not something I'd recommend for newbies. Definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, I'd try and avoid it. I think it's you're asking for trouble. 1966, it was so long ago, man. See, I buy on quality. I don't really want to you're going to pass up good ones because you want a stupid 1966 one. It's just a disaster. So I'd try and say don't do that. For that sort of money, you could buy some really cool things. There's so many good watches. What would I buy? I'd bid a three-piece combo meal deal. How about a Datejust 41, which is a great watch. A Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon. And maybe a Tudor Black Bay. Three-piece Hunger Buster. Wouldn't that be a great little collection? That's kind of what I'd be aiming for. Forget Berthier garbage. That is just, they're not going to, a 1966 Submariner doesn't mean you can take it in the water like a new Submariner. It's delicate. It's vintage. And yeah, I'd say don't do that. Don't do that. I really would say don't. For that, you're new to the hobby, man. Vintage is fraught with danger. And I like these newbies. They jump in, they go on the eBay, and they start looking around for cheap deals. When you go and buying vintage, you don't want the cheapest one from that era. You want a damn good one. You want an expert to give you the opinion. It's fraught with danger and difficulty. Believe you me, I know this stuff, and I wouldn't be jumping in there myself. I would be very cautious. Get some modern stuff. That's what I would do. $20,000 budget. That's a pretty good budget. So there's some beautiful things you could get there. I'd avoid Berthier. That's a dumb idea. I don't know why people want to do these dumb things. And it's, unless you're a real vintage nut, that's a hard watch to live with from that era. So, yeah, it was a good idea, Chris, but I don't think I'd be pulling that one, okay? So, there you go. The Pontiff has spoken. No! Get modern. Go modern. There you go. Guys, like, subscribe, tell your friends. That's a paid review for Chris. Tell me what you think. Put some negative comments below. Don't be afraid to speak out and tell me what you really do think there. We'd like to hear the truth. Yeah, so there we go, guys. And don't be afraid. Google Ads! I can't survive on Google Ads. I need paid reviews. Paid reviews keep me on YouTube. $50 I'll do a review of your collection. I'll answer questions. I'll tell you what I think. I'll give you the awful truth. I'm Paul Pluta. Tell me what you guys think of that. Nice one, Arch. Great review. Stay away from vintage. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury. And who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW, David SW, David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW, David SW, David SW. Guys, the wristwatch market is terrible. It is absolutely shite. Okay, guys, I'm offering the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grand Sun Moon. We're going to ship it internationally. How much do we want? $9,250 US dollars. $9,250 US dollars shipped to the developed world. No sales to Africa, Indonesia, and third-rate countries. But guys, we're ready to ship to America. $9,250. I've tried to get an Aussie punter on. The Aussies seem to be very, very tough to sell a Jaeger-LeCoultre to. Come on, guys. 9250. 9250. Come and grab it now. Email me at ArchieLuxury72@gmail.com. ArchieLuxury72@gmail.com. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, new sponsor on the channel, APPSTANTIATE. Help get the most of your engineering and DevOps with APPSTANTIATE. APPSTANTIATE provides on-demand DevOps infrastructure, test automation, and continuous integration as a service with a focus on mentoring and hiring assistants to help engineering teams scale. They are experts in Google Cloud, Amazon Web Services, and the latest open source utilities to help your company save time and money. Cost reduction in your hosting bills alone will pay for itself. In addition, the team is 100% onshore, New York City-based senior engineers. APPSTANTIATE will help you get most productivity out of your current stack and/or employee headcount. Email hello@appstantiate.com. Please email now hello@appstantiate.com for more information. ArchieLuxury, proudly supporting fantastic businesses. And don't forget, guys, make sure you subscribe to the ArchieLuxury corporate live streaming channel to be updated on all the live shows I do. Live shows!